by Chejun.
The header is good, and it's the giant defender John Tae-wook, and eventually Korea have broken the deadlock.
You're listening to the K-League United podcast, proud partner of Football Nation Radio.
Hello, I'm Ashim Mikar. Welcome to the weekend, a special preview edition of the K-League United podcast. I'm Paul Neat, and we start with the latest news. Jeju United on Tuesday confirmed the release of Brazilian winger Eder. The former Daegu, Jeonbuk and Songnam man has joined Chinese second division side Jiangxi Lensong after featuring just 4 times for the Tangerines this season. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, former Korean international midfielder Kuja Chol on Tuesday scored his first goal in over a year. The 31-year-old struck in the 42nd minute of Al Gharafa's 2-0 away win over Al Rayyan in Group B of the QSL Cup. It was his second in Qatar, having notched on the 3rd of October last year in Al Gharafa's 3-3 draw with Al Wakra. Speaking of Korean internationals, the full national team takes on the under-23s on Friday and Monday in a 2-legged friendly. Both games are being played at Goyang Stadium with an 8 o'clock kickoff. And previewing Team Bento versus Team Hak-bum on the K-League United podcast this week was our KNT columnists Steve Price and Peter Hampshire, along with Ryan Walters, talking about the surprise picks, among other things. And here is a snippet of what.
Korea can score! They do! Beautifully created goal, rammed into the net by Chejun.
The header is good, and it's the giant defender John Tae-wook, and eventually Korea have broken the deadlock.
You're listening to the K-League United podcast, proud partner of Football Nation Radio.
Hello, I'm Ashim Mikar. Welcome to the weekend, a special preview edition of the K-League United podcast. I'm Paul Neat, and we start with the latest news. Jeju United on Tuesday confirmed the release of Brazilian winger Eder. The former Daegu, Jeonbuk and Songnam man has joined Chinese second division side Jiangxi Lensong after featuring just 4 times for the Tangerines this season. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, former Korean international midfielder Kuja Chol on Tuesday scored his first goal in over a year. The 31-year-old struck in the 42nd minute of Al Gharafa's 2-0 away win over Al Rayyan in Group B of the QSL Cup. It was his second in Qatar, having notched on the 3rd of October last year in Al Gharafa's 3-3 draw with Al Wakra. Speaking of Korean internationals, the full national team takes on the under-23s on Friday and Monday in a 2-legged friendly. Both games are being played at Goyang Stadium with an 8 o'clock kickoff. And previewing Team Bento versus Team Hak-bum on the K-League United podcast this week was our KNT columnists Steve Price and Peter Hampshire, along with Ryan Walters, talking about the surprise picks, among other things. And here is a snippet of what they had to say.
What's the biggest surprise in this roster? And I'm not going to go through the whole roster here. Who surprised you the most? Which name?
So this match is like they can't pick any of the international players, any of the overseas players, and that's pretty much almost all of the national team when you start considering the players in China and Japan as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is already very much a B national team. And in that situation, normally you'd want to pick kind of the up-and-coming players like the under-23s to see what you've got coming up over the next few years and the potential players. But because they're playing against the Olympic team, Bento's only been allowed to pick 3 players from the under-23s so that the under-23s side isn't completely decimated or anything like that.
Right.
From what I've heard, Bento wasn't extremely happy about that, but that's how it goes. knows? And so that's why, for me, the biggest surprise was that he picked Busan's Lee Dong-jun, because from what I heard, it's like, Korea's got so many good attacking players overseas. Yeah, I don't have to list them all, but you can see like pretty much their entire attacking lineup. First choice attacking lineup isn't here already because they're all overseas, but they're a little bit short on defenders from overseas, and there's not that many top defenders. So for me, it seemed like you'd want to maybe use that extra under 23 slot to another defender. I mean, they're trying Wondu Day from Ulsan, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's actually going to be the kind of standout player, the guy to watch, because he's so highly rated and he's one of those three that Bento's picked. So I think he really wants to watch him and see how he does and whether he can make up the full-time step to the national side. But yeah, I thought he would have picked another defender in one of those under 23 picks. So that's why I'd say Lee Dong-jun already, he's played for the national team. So he's already kind of in Bento's plans. But I thought maybe he would have picked somebody else instead of Lee Dong-jun. So yeah, that was a surprise for me.
Okay. And Pete, who are you saying is your surprise pick here?
Yeah, just going off the back of Steve there, you'd think Jung Tae-uk of Daegu would be perfect to like bed in as a centre back in the full team, national team. My surprise pick would be Lee Chung-young. I know obviously we've got that talent in Europe, etc., that can't play in this game, but with Lee Chung-young, I don't want to sound too harsh, but what's the point of him playing in it? Because he's not going to play in any tournaments in the future, so he's kind of just filling a gap. Yeah,
he might play in some of the qualifying games.
Do you think, with all that talent, Hwang Hee-chan, Son Heung-min, Lee Kang-in?
Yeah, I mean, not as a starter, but you'd still have him on the bench with all that experience. If you're suddenly struggling in a game, maybe he's the guy you want to bring on. Or if you need to kind of settle the team down a bit, maybe he's the guy you want to bring on. So, I mean, I can see why he's picked, even though he's probably not going to be around in the national team setup when we get to the next major tournaments.
All right, to hear all of what Ryan Walters, Steve Price and Peter Hampshire had to say about the upcoming KNT friendly matches, as well as what happened in K-League over the weekend just gone, then be sure to tune in to the latest episode of the K-League United podcast. Well, there is actually some K-League action coming up this weekend, and taking us through the marquee match, as well as the team and player to watch in K-League 2 round 23, is our Bucheon FC 1995 columnist George Slade.
Only 5 rounds of matches remain in the K-League 2, but every team can still qualify for promotion. This weekend, the majority of matches take place between teams 3 spaces apart in the table, meaning that a collection of upsets could drastically change the appearance of the league by the end of the weekend. The match of the round is Daejeon Hana Citizen versus Suwon FC. The only match this weekend between teams that are neighbours in the table, this fixture has big implications for the final league standings. Daejeon are on a poor run of form, having won only twice in their previous 9 matches, and are currently only 3 points away from slipping out of the playoffs. With their promotion rivals Seoul Eland, Gyeongnam and Jeonnam Dragons all playing lower-ranked teams this weekend, Daejeon will have to step up their game to grab some points from this fixture to keep themselves ahead of the pack. Suwon FC continue to fly high and are now 12 points ahead of Daejeon. Winning this match will ensure that Suwon will finish in the top 2, while a draw would also mean that they would need to pick up only 1 more point in their last 4 matches to guarantee it. With Jeju United playing on Sunday, winning this match will also see Suwon leapfrog Jeju and occupy the top of the table for a day, putting pressure on the Tangerines to continue their winning run. The team of the round is Seoul Eland. One of the teams ready to capitalise on a Daejeon loss this weekend is Seoul Eland, who currently sit in 4th place, just 2 points behind Daejeon. Although this season is a big improvement on last year, Seoul have had a bit of a stop-start campaign, regularly losing points to the so-called weaker sides while picking up wins against those above them in the league. Last weekend, Seoul sent out a massive statement to the rest of their promotion rivals by beating Gyeongnam 1-0, a win that saw them rise from 6th to 4th place. In their next 3 matches, Seoul face Bucheon, Anyang and Ansan Greeners, who all currently sit in the bottom half of the table. If Seoul are to earn their place in the playoffs, then they need to prove that they can win regularly and consistently and against teams from all over the table. It may seem an easy task on paper, but Seoul's longest winning streak this season remains at an uninspiring 2 consecutive wins. Defeating a Bucheon side that has finally put their record-breaking losing run behind them on Sunday would be a sign that Seoul see themselves as true playoff contenders. The player of the round is Baek Sung-dong. After a 3-year stint at Suwon FC, Baek Sung-dong is having a debut season to remember at Gyeongnam as he has emerged as his club's top scorer this season with 8 goals. However, the 29-year-old has not scored in any of his last 3 matches. 2 of those matches were defeats to Ansan Greeners and Seoul Eland, and both were only by single goal deficits. 5th placed Gyeongnam faced an 8th placed FC Anyang on Saturday that has only picked up 1 point in their last 4 matches. Gyeongnam have won both of their previous matches against Anyang this season, with Baek Sung-dong scoring the winner last time out. So this match appears to have come at a perfect time for Baek and his Chamwon-based club. However, with the playoff race so close, Gyeongnam cannot afford to be complacent and must secure the 3 points this weekend. So Baek has to be in top form. So the full fixtures this weekend on Saturday at 1:30pm we have Gyeongnam vs FC Anyang, followed by Daejeon Hansitsun vs Suwon FC. On Sunday we have Jeju United vs Ansan Greeners, Seoul Eland vs Bucheon FC, and Jeonnam Dragons vs Chungnam Asan.
Fans, we want to hear from you. You're encouraged to email KLU at info@kleagueunited.com or tweet at KLeague United with any questions, comments or reactions. Or follow us on Facebook to ask directly during one of our live shows.
Thank you very much for that, George. Of course, just K-League 2 this weekend while K-League 1 takes a break. But here is a reminder of what happened in the top tier last time out, as well as a roundup of other Korean football news. Daydream believers, Daegu FC are back in the AFC Champions League. The Sky Blues sealed their return to continental competition following a 1-0 win over Gwangju last Saturday. Liu Jae-moon bustled his way through to bag the game's only goal in the 70th minute to seal a huge 3 points. Daegu have now got a 10-point cushion over Gwangju with 3 games left to play and so are guaranteed to finish at least 5th. But just 3 points separate Daegu with Sangju in 4th, and so a place in the top 4, which would be a best ever, is up for grabs should they beat the Army side in the first game back after the international break. Jeonbuk, Ulsan and Pohang are the other K-League teams to qualify for ACL next year, but they could be joined by Suwon Blue Wings or FC Seoul, but only if either club wins the competition this year. According to a recent report, from 2021, the winners of the AFC Champions League will be given a place in the qualifying playoffs. Famously, Urawa Reds from the J-League won the competition in 2017, but then failed to qualify the season after due to league positioning. On the subject of ACL, this year's competition has been pushed back until November, and on Monday, the AFC released the fixtures for the east side of the competition. FC Seoul's first game is Saturday the 21st of November versus Beijing Guoan. Ulsan Hyundai take on Shanghai Shenhua on the same day, and then 24 hours later, Suwon Blue Wings meet Guangzhou Evergrande, and Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors take on Johor Darul Tazim. But there is still no venue. This is yet to be decided, but all the fixtures can be found on afc.com. Elsewhere in K-League, Gangwon for sorrow, 2 for joy, as Gangwon come from behind to beat the Magpies Songnam FC 2-1 on Sunday to all but seal survival. Despite being reduced to 10 men for the second game running, Songnam took the lead through Na Sang-ho after 10 minutes into the second period. However, goals from Kim Young-bin and former Magpie Im Chae-min turned the game on its head and condemned Kim Namil's side to their 5th defeat on the spin. Gangwon now have a 9-point lead over the drop zone with 3 games left, but have scored 10 goals more than basement side Incheon United. A point against the Darumi would mathematically seal survival the weekend after the international break. Return of the prodigal Son. Despite being forced off with a hamstring problem last weekend, Son Heung-min was back in the Spurs side on Sunday and back amongst the goals. Son bagged 2 and assisted 1 in Tottenham Hotspur's incredible 6-1 away win over Manchester United after a frantic first half in Manchester. Son missed Spurs' league Cup win over Chelsea on September 30th, as well as the Europa League qualifier against Maccabi Haifa on October the 2nd, but returned for the trip to Old Trafford. He was named in the starting lineup and bagged his 5th and 6th Premier League goals of the season, 7th overall. Over to France now. Although this Friday is Hangul Day, which celebrates the Korean writing system, last Saturday, Ligue 1 side Bordeaux wore shirts with their players' names written in Korean, or Hangul. Hwang Hee-jo, of course, is a member of that Bordeaux side, but was named as a sub. He came on in the second half during the 3-0 win over Dijon, their second win of the season. A documentary about Hwang's career thus far was released on YouTube and details his rise to stardom before eventually joining Bordeaux. A charitable contribution. Korean international midfielder Hwang In-bom has donated 50 million Korean won, or around $43,000 to the city of Daejeon to help those affected by COVID-19. Hwang left Daejeon in 2018 for MLS before departing for the Russian Premier League and Rubin Kazan earlier this year. In Germany, Korean internationals Jong Ryong and Kwon Chang-eun were on the losing side when Freiburg succumbed to Borussia Dortmund last Saturday, but after coming off the bench, they were able to play in front of a record post-COVID-19 crowd. At Signal Iduna Park, Dortmund and Freiburg played in front of a 9,000-strong crowd, which was there to witness Dortmund run out 4-0 winners. And finally, former Suwon Blue Wings striker Chung Tae-se, the 35-year-old, scored 3 goals in the space of just 18 second-half minutes on Sunday for J2 side Albirex Niigata. The North Korean was introduced with 64 minutes on the clock and with the score at 1-0 in Nagata's J2 round 24 fixture with Machida Zelvia before bagging his first hat-trick in 7 years, a 4-1 Suwon Blue Wings win over Daejeon Citizen in April 2013. Alright, well that is it for now from us, but do stay tuned next week because we have a East Coast Derby special episode coming out to celebrate the 100th edition of the K-League United podcast. And of course we have previews of the K&T matches, previews for most K-League 2 matches as well on KLeagueUnited.com, and the K-League 2 round 23 preview is on KLeague.com. We are on social media all at K-League United, and to find us the link is, as always, in the Bruno bio. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.
정조선 공공 폭격기 김신